Welcome to the Kindness Principles Podcast. I believe kindness is a cultural strategy that empowers people to create meaningful lives, healthier relationships, stronger organizations, and a world where everyone can thrive. My name is Cindy Smarsh, and I'm really glad you're here. Hi, everybody. Thanks for being with me today. It's so great to be back with you recording episodes of this podcast. I'll tell you, it's been a huge transition, and I'll tell you more about that later. But this chapter in my life and my professional life is all about infusing kindness in every aspect of our lives. And today I want to talk about when kindness seems unkind. Okay. But first, I just want to, because I haven't recorded an episode in many months, I want to invite you to go back to the first stretch of episodes in the Kindness Principles podcast. Many of you knew me as the Midlife Makeover Coach, where I did over 200 episodes, sharing all kinds of things, teaching all kinds of things to support you in midlife. And then about a year ago, I transitioned into this work with kindness based on honestly a spiritual inspiration that came to me. And I recorded a few podcasts that were actually, some of them were classes I did on LinkedIn that we edited them down. And it was just a few things. And I was working with someone that that I didn't like how things were going. And so I stopped, and that was about 6 months ago or so, with the intention of getting back to it when I kind of cleaned things up, took a breath, reassessed, and at last I'm getting there. So here I am today to begin a new series of episodes on the Kindness Principles podcast. So if you're interested, the first several episodes are available, and we talk about everything from being really intentional about bringing kindness to all areas of our lives, taking personal responsibility for being kind and for bringing kindness into our spaces instead of just waiting on others to be kind first, but also the importance of self-kindness and self-compassion and how the ripple effect of that is actually kindness to others. Because when you're good to yourself, you're naturally, others are going to benefit from that. So there's an episode about that. And then there's several episodes about workplace well-being based on kindness, a people first culture based on kindness, first person leadership. So how bringing kindness in your leadership energy is really powerful in business. And then I, of course, had Captain Kindman, who is a real life superhero on a mission to bring more kindness around the world. And he was a great guest, and it's a wonderful interview. So those are some of the things you'll find if you look back on previous episodes. So please do that and share this good news. We need great news, positive energy everywhere. So today I want to focus on when kindness seems unkind. Okay? When kindness seems unkind. So these are really, I'm going to tell two stories today, a personal story in my own life and a professional story from my own life as well, where kindness seemed unkind. And I'll explain that as I go along, and I think you'll understand. So sometimes in life, we have to make difficult decisions. And these are two stories of letting go that might seem unkind, but in the end were truly kind decisions for all. So about 13 months ago, my husband and I, we have a blended family. We got married in the middle of our lives. And so I have biological children. He has biological children. We share this blended family. And one of the kids and their spouse ran into a time in their life where they were jobless, and they were, sucking their money dry, as they were looking for jobs, and they were just in a transition, right? And they approached us about living with us for a short time. And so we have the space, and we absolutely were happy to do that and invited them to live with us. So they got all moved in about 13 months ago, and we all thought it would be, a short term process, maybe a few months, because they continue to look for jobs, and they're both highly educated, highly intelligent, just absolute masters in their fields. And so we just thought, this is going to be a no-brainer, and this will be just a really special time for us all to be together and have more time together than normal, because usually we live thousands of miles apart and that kind of thing. And so we moved them in, and got all settled in and kind of got into our flow living together. And we had some challenges because our lifestyles are also very different. So they tend to be, well, I'll just say my husband and I are very orderly people. Like, we're borderline OCD, right? We want everything in its place and a place for everything. We're those kind of people. And we're also a morning people. Like, we get up and get going early in the morning, and we've done 100 things before noon, right? We're kind of that, we're wired that way. And then about 8, 9 o'clock at night, we start to fade. Like, we're ready to start, winding it down. And by 10 o'clock, all bets are off. And 10:30 for sure, we're out most days and nights, right? So that's kind of how we roll. Whereas our kids that were living with us, they're night owls. Like, they come alive in the evenings, just absolutely come alive in the evenings. They're much more focused and energetic in the evenings. So, like, right when we're winding down, they're winding up. And then in the mornings, when we're like going 100 miles an hour, they can't even hardly open their eyes because they need to sleep in. They need their coffee, to get and slowly get moving. So our lifestyle, and then we like order, order, order. And their idea of, keeping house, their definition of clean was different than ours, not as precise, not as strict, I would say. And they're just not as orderly people. They're a little more, I would say, chaotic in how they live. It's chaotic to me. Now, that may not be fair, but I'm trying to paint a picture here for you, so you understand the difference in our lifestyles. um, and uh, and so those were the ways that we sort of bumped into some issues, right? And then we have one kitchen, luckily two refrigerators, but one kitchen. And then we kind of ate at different times, so that worked out pretty well. But sometimes we kind of bump into each other, with our eating schedules and bringing home grocery schedules and things like that, that just kind of got tricky at times. But nonetheless, overall, we did okay living together, and we had some special events together throughout the time and made some really great memories and everything. But we were really attempting to give them a hand up in a trying time. I mean, that's what people do who love each other, right? All kinds of people, friends, family, people do this for each other. It's kind, right? You say, hey, of course, come on in, live with us, take a breath, figure things out. It'll be okay. Well, as time has clicked along, it got long. It got long, and they weren't getting jobs, and it just didn't feel like they were making progress toward their goals. And it was starting to get under our skin a little bit. And my husband and I just missed, life, our just ourselves. I mean, we love our kids, obviously, deeply, deeply, all of them, just so much. I know you parents out there understand this. You just think you do anything for your kids, right? But at the same time, we had this nice little rhythm to our life, just the two of us, empty nesters for many, 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 many years now. Both of us, we've been empty nesters for a long time. These were not 20-year-olds living with us. They're much older. And just used to our quiet little life with each other, and had a nice flow to it. We're used to lots of privacy, and that all, of course, changed when you let people move in with you, no matter who they are. But anyway, and our kids, of course, they don't want to live with their parents deep down, and we also live in a rural area, and they're really city kids, and or city, I should say, adults. They're adults. And so, our lifestyle and our geographic location and were challenges for them as well. Well, anyway, time went on and on and on and on and on, and nothing was changing in their lives. And then one of them got offered a job that they didn't take. And my husband and I started to think, oh, so they're not going to just take any job. They're waiting for like the dream job. They're only looking for the dream job. Well, that wasn't what we were not, just going to let them live here for free endlessly until they got the best job in the world that they wanted. We were just trying to give them a hand up while they were figuring out what to do. And so, because that's what he and I would do. We were raised, and we were, when we were both 18 years old, we were told, bye bye, you're on your own, you take it from here. You're adults now, and so we really did not, he and I did not lean on other people to make our way in the world. We just figured it out, whether it was a nice dream job in our careers or if it wasn't. And we both pinched pennies and worked extra jobs to get through college, all kinds of things. Anyway, so we thought, well, these guys they can take care of themselves. They are just waiting for something more career aligned, which we of course would want for them too. But anyway, time went on, and we decided, okay, now it was kind to let them move in, and now it's going to be kind to us and to them to ask them to leave. And so this is where the podcast episode title comes in, right? When kindness doesn't, it seems unkind. So it may seem unkind to you, and it might have seemed unkind to them at some level when we sat them down and said, okay, you've got 90 days and then you got to go. No matter what's going on in your lives, no matter what you figure out between this day and 90 days from now, you are no longer going to be living here. And we gave them a cutoff date. And they didn't like that. They didn't want that. I think it felt pretty bad to them, but we did it honestly out of great love for them and for ourselves and each other. So, as you can imagine, life sometimes leads us to tough decisions and decisions of letting go. But it was for my husband especially, the situation was getting extremely tense. It was getting long for me too, although still delighted in these kids' company, and we still were having great laughs and some good times and everything too. But we missed our life, just ourselves, and felt like we had shifted from supporting them in a tough time to enabling them to not move forward. And enabling them not to move forward, this is our perspective on the situation, didn't feel kind. It actually felt like we were holding them back somehow by giving them so much that it didn't inspire them to figure out their lives as much as we thought they could, because these are two completely 100% capable young adults. So anyway, I hope you understand what I'm saying there. So kindness sometimes in your personal life could look or sound or seem to some people like it's being unkind. But the factor is, if you feel aligned and feel in truth with what you're doing, and your intentions are very, very good and loving and so on and so forth, then it is kind. When you know it's best for you, and you in your heart of hearts feel it's best for any others involved, then that is being kind. So that's my personal example. I hope you're thinking of times in your life where you maybe made decisions that some would say was not kind, or you even felt, gosh, I'm being mean here, but really you're trying to be kind, right? And we've all done that in friendships, in relationships, parenting, when we give tough love to children when we're raising them because we want to help them, be shaped into responsible, loving, happy creatures on the earth, people on the earth. Sometimes when we're disciplinary or whatever, that can feel unkind, but it's really kind. It's not kind to let your kids just, raise themselves. So anyway, when they're little, I mean. So anyway, so that's what I'm talking about. Now, this can also be true in our professional lives, in our professional settings. And so I want you to think about that as well. Are there situations in your lives, personally or professionally, where you're feeling this nudge that you need to have a tough conversation, or you need to let someone go, or you need to change something that not everyone will think is a great decision or might not be popular, but overall, in the best of your understanding, it's going to be a very positive change to make. This can happen regularly in our lives and in our work. So it happened in my work in this last year as well. I had hired this business coach, this woman that I really, really enjoy and respect her highly. And it's because of that I hired her. And she had this coaching program to build your business, and had a whole list. There was a whole contract and agreements in the contract of things she would be bringing to the coaching relationships, and what my responsibilities would be in the coaching relationships, and all this very detailed plan. We were going to work together for 2 years. This is a 2-year plan. And I thought I think so highly of her, and I still do in lots of ways in the work that she does, that I hired her, signed the contract, and then we got into things and got going on our work together and so forth. And it felt really good for quite a while. And then about, I would say 4, 5, 6 months into the process, I could start to see that her approach to business, this was my experience. I'm owning this experience. That what I thought was her philosophy around business and her approach around business, and my philosophy around business and my approach to business were not aligned as much as I thought they were in the beginning. So she wanted me to go this direction with stuff, and had this kind of, she had a focus on some things that I thought, well, that's not really, my big goal. This is more what's important to me. This is more what I value in running a business and in building a business. And she had this agenda in mind. And then I felt like she was not bringing to the table everything that she said she was going to. Now, that was my experience, not trying to rat on her at all, and just sharing how this evolved for me. So I got really uncomfortable with, trying to bring to the collaboration what my own style, my own approach, my own philosophy, my own ways of doing things, because she was not pleased with what I was not doing, and kept trying to get me to do some things in a different way. It's kind of hard to describe, but I got so uncomfortable that I was almost stuck, like frozen. Like I didn't know what to do, because I was like, gosh, I don't feel like I can fully be myself, but I've invested all this money and time because I had such faith in us working together in this way. And now it feels not great to me, even though I respect this woman a lot, I like her a lot as a person, and I think she likes me too. And so it was awkward. Like for months, it was like, ugh, I just fumbled and bumbled around. So then I was not producing content like I wanted to. I wasn't showing up as well as I wanted to and effectively as I wanted to, because I was trying to figure out how to be enough of myself for me to feel good, but also to be enough of what she wanted for her to feel good and for her to feel like we could keep moving forward. And it just didn't work. And so, long story, not so short, but shorter than you can imagine it could have been. I decided after 9 months of working with her that I was going to drop the relationship, that I was going to do whatever I could to get out of the contract. And she, I explained as best I could. And I think we had a very respectful closure meeting and so forth. Um, and, she did do some things for me, definitely, and helped me grow in some ways, and helped me to define kind of some of the parameters of my next chapter in business for sure, but did not deliver anywhere near all the things that I thought would come from this time together. Because, of course, we were only together for 9 months compared to 2 years. That's part of it. But also, she didn't want to go any further with some of the things because she didn't think I was doing enough of what, she really thought she needed me to do to keep going. So it was just not, just didn't work. So for me, so I felt it was kind to say to her, you know what? Let's part ways. Let's respectfully part ways. And we did. We respectfully parted ways. I was a little disappointed I didn't get any refund for, part of the program at least. I mean, she worked with me for, almost half of it, not quite, but she would not refund any of the investment, which I found disappointing. But I also thought, I'm not going to just keep beating this dead horse of a collaboration that's not working for me just because I invested this money. I've considered this a very important business investment and a very important lesson that I've learned. It's been an expensive lesson, but a lesson nonetheless. And I've been happier ever since. But I've had to kind of circle back around, get my bearings, and get on with it. And the podcast had to wait because I had to find a new virtual assistant. I've been interviewing many, and anyway, had to kind of find myself again. And so when kindness seems unkind, it might have seemed unkind for me to end that coaching agreement and relationship really early compared to what it was going to be. But again, it felt kindest to me. And I think she was relieved as well. And that's why we could part ways, very respectfully, because I think we both respect each other and like each other. And we're just ready to move on to different chapters in her life. She also said to me that she wasn't going to enter into such a long coaching agreement with clients anymore, like she had with me. And so I think she found a better model for herself as well in the process. And that's what kindness does. Even when it seems unkind, this freed her to move forward in a different way with her future clients and running her business. And it freed me to get back to finding myself and running my business that felt best for me. So even when kindness might seem unkind on the surface, when it's done with great intention, respectfully, thoughtfully, honestly, authentically, it is best for everyone. So that's what I want you to really challenge you to think about this week, is where in your personal or your professional life, any aspect of your life at all, are you feeling challenged? Are you uncomfortable? Is something off for you? And if you were kind to yourself or kind to another, would it change the trajectory of those situations in a way? Is it possible that even if it seems unkind on the outside or in some of your thinking, could an honest, kind approach actually help you turn the corner and help others, which will inevitably help everyone turn a corner in a better direction? So that's what I've got for you today. And I will talk to you again soon. I promise. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for being here. Please like and subscribe to our show and share this episode with anyone who can benefit. If you'd like to learn more about how the kindness principles can change your life, please DM me on LinkedIn. And thanks again for listening.